Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read you Washington Times Governor Andrew Cuomo under siege as nursing home scandal fuels impeachment talk. Democratic governor denies covering up data. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to get too into it because I'll abide by YouTube policies and, you just can't talk about the pandemic at all. But I am just simply reading from public record knowledge and the you-know-what's hitting the fan. New York Post, New York State Assembly GOP moves to form Cuomo Impeachment Commission. The federal government is now the FBI, and others are investigating New York's governor. Spectrum News, Assembly GOP advances impeachment process against Cuomo. Fox, New York Assembly Republicans push for Cuomo Impeachment Commission. There's also a federal investigation right now. So you can add New York's governor to the Lincoln Project. And let's just see, federal investigation. U.S. Attorney FBI investigating Cuomo's handling of nursing homes. FBI U.S. attorneys in Brooklyn probing Cuomo administration on nursing homes. CBS News, FBI and U.S. attorney investigating Cuomo's handling of nursing home cases. Now, for the love of God, ladies and gentlemen, I love you. And if you have to do so, let it out and vent. But for the love of God, please don't say nothing's going to happen. It's just another cover-up. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing might happen from this. You might have Democrats, the Democratic Party machine within the FBI, or loyalists within the FBI or government, investigating a top Democrat, and nothing might happen. Yes, it's true. But for the love of God, at least don't look at this and say, well, if nothing happens, there was no wrongdoing. The fact that he's being investigated already undermines the absurd book that he has, the ludicrous book that he has on leadership during this crisis. Okay, the man, New York's governor, has a book out on leadership lessons. The captain of the Titanic or the Hindenburg would be better suited to have lessons on leadership than this man. And it's like you have a situation without and abiding by YouTube policies, and I'll put the links below. The links will be below in the pinned comment. The NBC News, the Times Union, the CBS News. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. I'm going to be talking about things that you should be concerned with that are public record knowledge. We're on our way back to 200,000 subscribers. Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, be here. I'm going to start my live streams again. I had a fun time last night with everybody. Eric H526, Luke St. Martin, thank you for being amazing moderators as always. And I had a lot of fun. If you do want to support my voice long term, you can do so on the with a super chat in the evening, and we have a good time. We have a fun live stream, and I'm starting that back up, so be here at about 8 to 9 p.m. Pacific tonight. I'm going to start the live streams earlier. I used to do them at like 10 or 11 in the evening. I'm going to start them a little earlier from now on so we can get people on the East Coast. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun last night. It was just on a whim. I wasn't even really expecting to do a live stream. I said, I miss this. I miss the interaction. So it was fun. So definitely be here tonight at around 8 to 9 p.m. Pacific. But there's a reason that the FBI and U.S. attorneys are investigating New York's governor. Yes, nothing might happen, or there are enough Democrats who are angry and hurt and want accountability. So that's another issue. Not everything is Hillary Clinton with top secret intelligence on private servers. Now, they've been getting away with a tremendous amount and going after Trump for nonsense. See, the truth about many Democrats and Lincoln Project people, the way they see the truth is they say, well, the truth about us is damaging and exposes, the most salacious, horrendous, despicable activity. So what are we going to do to try to deflect? Well, we'll go after Trump because something might have happened. There was a dossier that said that he was in a Moscow hotel room, or the IRS has his taxes, so we have to see the taxes. There's got to be something there. And you have a Southern District, and you have, the emoluments clause was kicked out. The Mueller probe found literally nothing. The evidence was insufficient. That's the phrase that they used. There was no evidence. The Steele dossier was literally purchased by Trump's direct political rivals and compiled with help from one Russian intelligence official. So they're the ones who worked with Russia, not Trump. And so you have all of these, you don't have anything tangible. When they say, well, Trump presided over 400,000 lives lost. Yeah, and so did a whole bunch of people. Fauci and the worst outcomes have taken place according to the New York Times statistics in Democratic-run states. This is not something I'm making up. This is the New York Times statistics. So you have a situation where New York's Governor Cuomo tweeted out in March, the risk remains low for the people of New York. There's no need for undue anxiety. It soon became the epicenter of this pandemic throughout the world. And again, I'm reading I'm covering a story. Okay, I'm covering a story that is all over the news now. U.S. attorneys and the FBI are investigating New York's governor. Okay, U.S. attorneys and the FBI are investigating New York's governor. The Lincoln Project co-founders, one in particular, is being investigated by the FBI. And they're completely radioactive now. Nobody wants to get anywhere near them. They're a political liability, and everyone now sees them for the despicable political organization they are. They're the Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld political operatives that slithered into the Democratic Party. The Democrats gave them $90 million. $50 million went into their went into companies that they owned. So again, you're not talking about Hillary Clinton now. You're talking about people with less political influence who are being investigated for crimes that they really can't slither away from. Okay? And then you have a press secretary. So he was acquitted. President Trump was acquitted second time. So all the nonsense, it's his fault directly. He shouldn't have had it's true, he shouldn't have had protests that day. There should have been a dialogue, discourse, debate. But he did not tell anyone to commit those illegal acts. And it was horrendous. Those 5 people should be alive today. That woman should be alive today. Those 5 people should be alive today. It's interesting that nobody's talking about the woman who lost her life, who was unarmed. It's interesting the left isn't talking about her. Why? And so you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where, yes, it was a horrendous, tragedy. But President Trump did not tell those people, instruct those people, did not organize anything. So the mayor of D.C., the attorney general of D.C. didn't go after President Trump because he did not organize or tell anyone. He's protected under the First Amendment. We still have the First and Second Amendments, even though Democrats would love to erase them. So he's acquitted twice. You have the Lincoln Project completely imploding. So all the wonderful moral Democrats that retweeted Lincoln Project people, Steve Schmidt or Rick Wilson or Weaver, or all of those, Conway, all of those people, now how do they feel? Or there's a great many liberal Democrats who truly believe they're morally superior over Trump supporters, and they've been giving millions upon millions and then retweeting Lincoln Project people as if the Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld, the worst president of all time by far with George W. Bush, got us into endless counterinsurgency conflicts, which turned into the most failed, abysmal foreign policy. The most horrendous foreign policy that nobody, people on the left and the right, all agree. And President Trump reversed that foreign policy. Abraham Accords, détente between North and South Korea. First president to step foot in North Korea. President Moon Jae-in stated Trump deserved the Nobel Peace Prize. You have peace between Israel, UAE, Bahrain, Morocco. These are huge, huge accomplishments that, unfortunately, President Trump's presence on Twitter, which is the worst platform of all time. If the devil made a platform, it would be Twitter. Because it's just there just to funnel negative emotions and to foment, these base negative emotions. Especially from apoplectic, seething, fuming, oftentimes morally superior liberals. I say that obviously being facetious. But he was acquitted twice. Lincoln Project completely implodes and now is the biggest political liability on the planet. Trump had presided over, watched a deputy press secretary who went after a Politico journalist, telling her that he would destroy that individual. And now you have Andrew Cuomo being investigated by the FBI and U.S. attorneys, and you have Democrats in New York who've had enough. Now Newsom has 1.5 million signatures recalled to recall him. You have Hunter Biden, Caligula, who the feds are investigating his taxes. And there's a couple other issues as well going on. Biden is not giving anything to the left. I don't want to be mean. I swear to God. For the people, I know that, I might be a guilty pleasure. Watching this channel is a guilty pleasure to some people on the left who still watch the channel. And I thank you. I love you. If you're on the left, if you're a progressive and you still watch the channel, knowing that I support President Trump, because actually in many ways from a left-leaning vantage point, President Trump wanted to remove Americans from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts, and he was on his way to doing so. He ended the war in Afghanistan officially. He did a lot of great things in terms of foreign policy and also domestic policy. We had record low unemployment for most of his tenure. The pandemic was not Trump's fault. Were there missteps? Of course there were missteps. Would there have been missteps with Biden? Yeah, look what's taking place in Democratic-run states. But he presided over great things. His personality, unfortunately, if President Trump learns in the next couple of years, tones it down just a little bit, takes his foot off the gas pedal, doesn't have to take a bat and swing for the fences and hit the beehive or hornet's nest of apoplectic, indignant liberals, getting them all, in a frenzy. If he does a little bit less of that, he should never have insulted LeBron James. He should never have insulted NFL athletes. There's things that President Trump should never have done. That if he learns from, his accomplishments will be the focus, not his personality. That's what I'm trying to say, ladies and gentlemen. There needs to be, let's just let Democrats govern. Look at what's taking place. The left's about to break off. And I say, like I was about to say, to the viewers on the left who watch this channel still, either as a guilty pleasure or they enjoy my vantage point. Because I support President Trump not for the traditional reasons of a conservative, even though I'm conservative on the Second Amendment. Perhaps some other issues, I'm still on the left on certain issues, especially immigration. But I have friends who are dreamers. I want them citizens. President Trump offered that for funding, but the Democrats said no. And now there's no immigration bill. But the left is about to break off. Look at them governing. He didn't even abide by promises on stimulus checks. They're not getting a Green New Deal legislation. They're getting incremental change here and there, research on here and there. The executive orders did not address any of what the left wanted. Think of, ladies and gentlemen, if you let them, in a way, look, you got 2022, President Trump keeps gaining complete control of the Republican Party. It's a good thing. It becomes a populist political party. The establishment Republicans and the never-Trumpers and the rhinos and the neoliberals and the Democratic establishment, they're the same people. Ben Sasse and Pelosi are they're the same people. There's no difference between Schumer and Mitt Romney. That's why I had one person, I would vote for Mitt Romney. Exactly why I voted for Trump. And this same person didn't like that I was a Bernie Sanders supporter. I used to be a liberal Democrat my whole life, and then I became more of a progressive or on the left. But I understand the mentality. There's no set value system. There's no moral compass. The compass spins like a spinning top. Wherever it's, believe, except when it's Tara Reid or anyone else that accuses a Democrat or Biden. The world's going to end, climate change, incremental change with Keystone XL, but there's 10 pipelines that were built, over 10 pipelines that were just as long as the Keystone XL pipeline, built during President Obama's tenure. That's in the Financial Post article. Immigration, you want to talk about that topic? Worse atrocities took place under President Obama. I can't even talk about that because of YouTube policies. But the left is breaking off. Eventually, I'm going to get to my point. If you're on the left, still watching this, and I say this with love and all due respect, when will you realize the Democratic Party is a racket and a scam? When will you simply just build up the Green Party? I give it up to the Green Party. Because they've been maligned and disparaged and they've been called the same Russian puppet that Tulsi Gabbard and Trump and Bernie Sanders and Jill Stein have been called. Or build the People's Party. Build a political party. You think I would care if President Trump started a political party to tank the GOP? That'd be fantastic. Because eventually, when it came to a presidential election, the Republicans would strike a deal. And they would say, fine, we won't side with Democrats. People like Adam Kinzinger and Ben Sass and Mitt Romney, they're and it would be formerly the Lincoln Project, but all their skeletons came out of the closet. And now they've completely imploded. Nobody wants them. They're enamored with the media coverage. But the media coverage, look at the Lincoln Project. Look at the media. The media has one goal: to silence the Bernie Sanderses of the world, to silence the Trumps of the world, and to focus just on the nice, comfy, doughy, gushy middle. That's it. That's why you had that dumb commercial by Springsteen. And the people who started it, who produced the commercial, like, okay, get these country bumpkin, toothless Trump supporters to just, okay, we put a church there, and we pick up truck, and good, yeah, pickup truck, and blue jeans, and I got a trucker's hat, and yeah, it was Bruce Springsteen. And what more do you want? It's the middle. We're happy now. You can go ahead and meet up in the middle. For so long the middle was difficult. But now, it's like, what? Oh, so you got what you wanted, now you want people to meet in the middle? Whereas Trump you tried to call him the reincarnation of the 1930s and 1940s Germans because he wanted prison reform legislation, which is what he signed. And he allocated more funding to historically black colleges and universities than any president ever. And he removed Americans from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts and presided over global peace deals. And you're going to compare him to the worst despots of all time? The middle. I love the middle now. Look at Bruce Springsteen, right? Trump supporters? Come on. I mean, these people, if you, to the average Democrat, Trump supporters either don't exist or they're mindless. They're so mindless and gullible that they can look at a commercial and say, gosh, we'll just meet in the middle. It's like, yeah, we move on as a country no matter what happens, and we, peacefully with, focus on, constructive, positive dialogue and discussion. That's what I'm pushing for: dialogue, discussion, debate, positivity. If you watch this channel, I'm giving you positivity because I'm generally a positive person, generally. But President Trump has taken complete control of the Republican Party, and Democrats still don't realize it, so they just pump out these dumb commercials. And they have this mentality that, like, you either don't exist, so Jimmy Kimmel makes fun of you, or Bill Maher or whatever, like Hollywood disparages 74 million people all the time, or you exist and you're so gullible that a commercial will get you to, like, God, Biden's a great, great person. And now you have, again, this scandal, this horrible, horrible scandal and controversy in New York, What New York's governor did, that was a direct, like, Trump didn't make any, he didn't make any policies that directly affected the lives of people in Los Angeles or New York. I've gotten into, unfortunately, debates with certain people that I know, certain apoplectic people, and they can't tell you, they can't, there's no rebuttal to the fact that a governor and a mayor have far more influence on the lives of citizens than a president does. Unless the president is sending people to never-ending conflict like Bush. Or a president, for example, it destroys a country like Libya with President Obama. But the worst outcomes took place in Democratic-run states. According to the New York Times, 7 of the top 10 in terms of aggregate lives lost are in Democratic-run states. And like 8 of the top 12 in terms of highest per capita rates, with New York and New Jersey up there leading the country, are Democratic-run states. That's why when Jonathan Swan wanted to ambush Trump, and he looked at the per capita rate in the country, well, who do you think has the worst? We have 50 states. The states with the worst per capita rates are Democratic-run states. They also have the greatest populations. They also have the greatest amount of lives lost. That's not Trump's fault. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. Again, this is not Clinton with the private servers. It's true, nothing might happen, but the fact that there's even an investigation is a very, very good thing. And I think that the evidence is overwhelming, and you have Democrats upset too, because you have liberal Democrats in New York who aren't going to take it anymore. In New Jersey as well, they're not going to take it anymore, and they're going to go and they're going to battle this through legal means. Give me your thoughts. Thank you. Oh, be here tonight, by the way, at around 8 to 9 p.m.